Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having a phenomenal day. Happy Friday to all. Good morning, good evening, and good night, I guess, depending on where you're at. Let's take a quick look here at Bitcoin, see what's going on. We've got this descending trend that's still consistent, right? So when we look at the charts, we recognize that we're making lower highs and still lower lows. So this channel is not going to discontinue until we break a free from it, right? So we just kind of got to presume the price will continue lower until it doesn't. That's generally the best practice, but once more, you don't attach yourself to the bias that it's going to zero, right? We can never do that. So let's take a look at some back-end data and kind of see roughly what's going on here and see if there's any new liquidation levels. For the most part, we have a lot of liquidation on the downside, and we got to recognize that, you know, that $55,000 to $53,000 range has a pretty heavy concentration. But again, it's starting to dissipate, but also some late longs coming in here as well. So best way to kind of see it, or to look at it really, is to essentially zoom out to the monthly and just kind of take note of these little lines here. So again, roughly 4.5 billion at 55,200. That might be the next stopping point. But once again, 54,000 is a pretty heavy concentration. We got somewhere in the range of 12 to 15 billion. It does seem like that's actually less now, which is a good sign. That implies that some longs are securing some profits, or perhaps even closing their trades in a loss. I'm not sure exactly, but the general consensus here is that 54,000 is starting to dissipate a little bit, if you will, okay? And usually that's a favorable sign. Again, doesn't mean the price isn't going to go down to that level. Just with less liquidation, the less likelihood we are to see that happen, okay? So anyways, that's just shifted a little bit. It's not a big deal, really. Nothing to read into. If we take a look at our premium group here, congrats to our community. We secured 46% profit on our short trade we're taken a week ago with Bitcoin. And of course, 2 days ago, we took a SUI short at 40%. So again, pretty good little shorts here for the most part, even though we have a couple of longs open from before we secured profits and walked away. Our shorts are getting more profitable than the longs, okay? And it's just kind of the market that we're in right now. The overall trend is down. You got to presume most coins are gonna pull back, especially those running concurrent with Bitcoin. Solana's being one of those that might be worth taking a short here soon. Let's take a look. First of all, focus on the situation at hand here with Bitcoin and just kind of recognize where we're at. Okay, so first of all, we take a look at their SMAs. We know this for a while, but we're still descending, right? We're still underneath all moving averages until we get back up over that 20-day SMA, maybe a closure solidly above 59.5, perhaps even 60K. We have no reason to consider a long position. Seriously, folks, it's like, it just doesn't make a ton of sense to just be the person that buys a dip and, you know, brags online about how great you are because you bought that special price. Okay, that doesn't mean anything. We wait until the price action, you know, breaks its descending trend line. We look for a bullish backtest of that horizontal trend line, or essentially that, in this case, the descending trend line, and then we consider taking a long position. Okay. You don't just jump in blindly. And if we do take a look here, of course, the more local point of control, once again, is that 60,700 mark. We talked about that previously being an important level. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row, the price action rejected at that level, could not pass, and now we're down lower. Okay, when you see that, that's generally a good place. Unfortunately, I was traveling during the time in which the price action was wicking up. I would have loved to have short that 61,000 mark, but again, hindsight's 20/20, right? However, at this point, do we take a short, do we take a long? That's the question at hand. Let's see if we can find that out. When we do take a look, first of all, stochastic's starting to swing down on the daily. That's kind of letting us know this little momentous trend has shifted to somewhat of a bearish trend, right? And the overall sentiment is that we're under 50 on the RSI. While money flow index is increasing, it's only increasing because it's averaging itself out with the last drop, so it's not really as monumental as you might think. So the truth is the daily time frame is giving some false positives, but more importantly, with stochastic and MACD, we can see that we are still momentously pulling back. Okay, we look at the 4 hour. Here's the MACD for the 4 hour, same scenario as well. And if we look at the RSI, still rejecting off of 50, stochastic starting to pull back, money flow index is low. We have more room for downside here, folks. There's no other way around it. Okay, so I don't really like the price action here for Bitcoin so far. What we can see here, of course, and I talked about this yesterday, we have this support range at 58,000. Once we lost that, the price action comes up, breaks above, and now it's trying to break below. So that's not like a definitive line here. Sometimes support levels don't always hold, but the truth is we're at 58,000 right now, and if we close at 58K or lower, there's a solid chance we're going to see further downside. Okay, so again, there's just a lot of reasons here as to why you don't want to take a trade. If you take a look here as well, we're establishing lower highs and lower lows consistently, okay? That really just implies that we are in a channel. Until we break the channel, we have no reason to consider a long. We are under all moving averages too on the 4-hour time frame, which is generally disadvantageous. Okay, we want to, in order to break a descending trend, I talk about this in my university too. Future reference, if you are part of my community and you're not watching my university videos, make sure you do so. It really helps give you a good foundation of just understanding a lot of fundamental stuff, if you will. But the whole point of this and what I'm talking about is just in order to break a descending trend line, you have to establish higher highs and higher lows. Okay, we are establishing higher lows for the moment, and this is not a higher high by any stretch. So the truth is we've got to close somewhere at 59.6 or higher in order for us to get confirmation that this trend has shifted. Again, that's a long ways away. Furthermore, we also need to make sure that we break this local high here as well at 58.6. So if we close at 58.6 or higher today, then there's a solid chance that we're going to be able to see this discontinuation of this descending trend line and a potential continuation higher, right? But for right now, all we're seeing is lower low and lower high, and that really doesn't tell us much, okay? So we still got to be patient and kind of either wait it out or confirm on other factors here and see where we're at. So let's take a look at the hourly and just clarify here. We're still within the cloud, or below the cloud rather. Again, consistently getting rejected there. The conversion line is above the baseline now, kind of letting us know we have some momentum, and the lagging span is soon to intersect with the price action. Well, what does that mean? Well, that's kind of a conflict, right? It basically just tells us that the lagging span, with it being free and clear or soon to intersect with the price action, just tells us that shift may be happening. So if you have a short position open, maybe safe to consider securing some profits. If you take a look, of course, at the conversion line, that tells us that, hey, we've shifted from bearish to bullish on the shorter term time frame. Keep in mind, these are absolute significant bunny ears here, basically just implying that we could be seeing that shift in momentum again. If we do that and we take a look at the MACD, however, we're diverging here soon, unless we get a FU, of course, and the price continues higher. But the general consensus here is that, we're still very premature, okay? But I'm looking for a candlestick closure at 58.6 or higher today to warrant a long position. If we don't get that, I think it's pretty safe to say we just open a short and go down, okay? To clarify, profit targets for a short trade would be somewhere in the 56,000 range, probably even better off, just say 56K even, mainly because we had a wick down there, and if we double bottom, we'll be able to get filled and the price turns around, right? So hypothetically, that'd be a good place. I'll go ahead and provide some better targets, of course, for our community. Keep in mind, those are going to be provided in our trade alerts section, where I provide you with specific details on coins that I'm covering, coins I'm planning to take trades with. Okay, so that'll be available there too. It's also available in Telegram. You can just link that through our website if you want. Anyways, more information is there through our Connect Accounts section. Other than that, I can't think of too much else here really that's super relevant. Really just looking to break this descending trend line and effectively establish higher highs and higher lows. The most important thing I would say initially here is to break this little resistance, tentative resistance at 58.7. That's the local resistance here, kind of letting us know that. But once again, just to reaffirm, 59.5, we have our local point of control. That's going to be a resistance for us too. So we're not out of the woods. Even if we get above this level here, it'll be a good start. But generally speaking, we might actually see rejection there too. So just keep in mind that there's some important levels to be mindful of. All right, folks, I appreciate you watching. Thanks again so much for all your patience while I'm traveling here, and we'll look forward to seeing you all in the next video. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.